Good evening again, folks. If you see me down and kind of really aggravated with myself, I was doing my second video and I looked down and I noticed that the headset wasn't on again. So I had to delete the videos and we're going to have to do this again. So I'm not going to be going through the disclaimers right now. We're going to do the trigger warnings and I'll paraphrase the last two videos that I just tried to do. I'm so sorry, folks. It's just my old computer didn't used to do that. It automatically would have the green button on there unless I told it otherwise. But with the new computer, if I don't turn it on and I don't think about it, then you all will essentially be watching 30 minutes of me forming words you can't hear. So, we're going to paraphrase here, but first the trigger warnings. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you will hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger, parental supervision is obviously advised. To paraphrase what I was wanting to do in this video, but because I have a very special case of the dumb today, I seem to have forgot to check the headset first, was in regards to this paragraph here. Now, I know I keep bouncing between them, but again, they pack so much into these little paragraphs that I can look up and see something that didn't pop out the other day, so I do apologize about that. We're going to go here in particular when they're talking about the numerous medications and combination of medications when it comes to GA. And in the particular, they're saying, but it didn't change anything. May I say for like the zillionth, I don't know, Air Buddha, billionth time. The JRC does this, folks. What they do is they have crafted this villain in their bizarre little fan fiction. This kind of two-dimensional, like Looney Tune, old Disney level villain. Their name is Big Pharma, right? And Big Pharma is the boogeyman. They're going to give you all these medications, and that medication is going to zombify your autistic child, make them catatonic, and then they'll be warehoused and strapped to a bed, having no coherent thoughts, with eyes staring up at the ceiling. That's not how it works, folks. That narrative was first written back in the 1970s, where, to be at all honest, we really didn't have a real good grasp on any mental health at the time. Most of the services in regards to those with mental health issues were shipped off to institutions and warehoused there. The days of the full frontal lobotomies and the catatonic drugs, that was that era. Problem with the JRC is they have never changed that description in regards to taking medications since the 70s. Where these days, the pharma landscape doesn't look like that anymore. Okay? They really do put a primary focus on functionality. All right? I did use myself as an example. I was misdiagnosed young. I've told you all that. That was back before they even had the diagnosis of ADHD. Back then, it was just attention deficit disorder. I think it was either 1991 or 1992 when I got diagnosed with that. Okay? The doctor did not put me on a drug that left me catatonic to be strapped to a bed and then warehoused. No. I was prescribed Ritalin. Now, Ritalin has its own side effects. We'll be going through those here in just a moment. But I can also tell you, at no point in time after they put me on Ritalin did that medication ever lead me to being catatonic, strapped in a bed, drooling with eyes wide open, staring at a wall or ceiling. Literally none of that happened. But that's what the JRC, that's the picture they want you to see in your heads. The problem with it is that that has changed so vastly that that being used as an argument in this day and age doesn't even work anymore. Okay? You do have situations with people who have been determined to be a danger to themselves or others, where they might give you some medicine to sedate a person. The difference between now and then is they don't stick you on that drug and then keep you on there until you croak. Want to know why? I'll be happy to explain it to you. Big Pharma is not the boogeyman, because to be point blank, they can't be the boogeyman. Even more bluntly, Big Pharma is corrupt. They are money-grubbing, money-hungry bastards. We all know this. People like that are going to want to protect their assets, not leave it open for attack. For how much money they bring in. If warehousing was nearly as big a problem as the JRC are trying to make it seem in this our year of 2025, we would know. Because there would be lawsuits hitting those pharmaceutical companies all over the world every single day. Those lawsuits are not cheap. And even for the more bigger corps that provide these medications, having a never-ending line of lawsuits to fight, you're talking about a massive loss in funds, as well as time taken away from the business to have to focus on multiple lawsuits at a time. It is in actuality because they are self-interested, they are greedy, and they are powerful, that they don't try to essentially keep us all sedated and warehoused. It's a way to protect their own ass. Sure, do I think a good majority of those folks are there because they care about humanity? No, not even a little bit. Me, are you kidding? I'm nihilist as hell. An idyllic nihilist, yes, but still nihilist. But it's because I'm nihilist, I see the reality for what it is. These big pharma companies do not want to spend forever opening up their war chest over and over and over again to fight these things never endingly in court. It is a sure money bleed. Okay? They want to make money, not bleed money. All right? So they do have their safety procedures in there. So they're not widely prescribing medication like back in the day in the 70s to sedate and warehouse people, because this is, again, the year of our Lord 2025. And if they were trying to pull that, they would be sued back into the Stone Age. Big Pharma does what they do to cover their own ass, yes, but it's specifically because of that self-interest and greed that they're not going to be trying to zombify the kids. Okay? Lawsuits are expensive. If that's all they were doing, they'd be hemorrhaging money every time they turn their head around. So what they're going to do is to make sure to not give out that kind of medication unless it's under some very strict circumstances. Such as if you're bringing in a violent criminal who's already escaped twice out into the general public, you may sedate that guy while you have him in a hospital so that they'll be able to receive their treatment before taking their ass back to jail. But they're not going to leave them on that sedative forever. Because even under those circumstances, people will sue. Okay? Big Pharma is corrupt. Big Pharma is greedy. Big Pharma does have a ridiculous amount of power. It's for those very reasons that they're not going out of their way to try to zombify an entire generation of autistics, okay? That is the real reality here, okay? There's the other idea that these doctors, specialists within their own right, that their first thought is, well, obviously we need to sedate and warehouse the kid. I don't know if anybody's told you this, but again, it's not the 1970s anymore. Most doctors, yes, just like Big Pharma, even the self-interested pricks, they're going to be trying to get you medication that is going to improve your functionality and getting on with your life while on the medication. Because that's what brings repeat customers. Repeat customers means a steady, you're going to be able to keep receiving funds, right? Right? They're going to keep coming back to you if the pill that you gave them is assisting them in dealing with the things. Kind of hard to do that if you're on a special kind of medication that has you sedated and you've just been thrown off into a warehouse in like Timbuktu somewhere. All right? Just saying. There are some people that are not the devil because it doesn't personally benefit them to be the devil. Big Pharma is very, very much in that category. That I can tell you. Now that we've gotten away from the idea that these places are out there to zombify all of us, allow me to bring up a few other things. Every single medication you have been ever prescribed or have purchased and consumed from over the counter is going to have side effects. The JRC wants you to take that knowledge and then crank your paranoia up to 11 and buy the additional bullshit they're trying to sell you. Okay? The thing is, medicine has evolved in a way that has been stunningly fast and way beyond where it was when Dr. Israel first concocted that argument of drugged to Canatoni and warehoused somewhere and forgotten about. Most medicines that these doctors prescribe focus primarily on functionality. It is supposed to help a specific area where you are having a lot of trouble, that whatever treatment your program you're on, where the program can't do it by itself. It needs that supplement. Like my current treatment program is being supplemented by Paxil, for example. Right? Now, these medications are not going to take away all the dangerous behaviors. Because let's be honest here, nothing really does. Things happen, even when you're on good medication. Believe me, of all people, I would know that. All right? It's not going to take away all the behaviors that mark us out clearly as not being neurotypical. There is no medication on planet Earth that exists to do that. Nor is there any specific medication whatsoever at this point in time that is used strictly to treat autism. That drug, literally, to my knowledge, as of right now, does not exist. The medicines that we do receive are usually used to help treat some of the comorbid diagnoses, like I was referencing the other night. The Paxil is there to treat my anxiety disorder, because my anxiety disorder had gotten worse, and even the self-coping methods that I have been taught years and years ago had stopped working. I had lost control. And in spite of using all that I've been taught, I could not by myself bring it back under control. So, talking to my doctor, I have my nice pink miracle drug that helps me keep my head on straight and not allow that anxiety to interact with the autism and send me headlong into burnout or autistic meltdown like it had been. Side effects are, it does mess with the acid reflux. I can't just take that pill by itself, or it will completely mess my stomach up. I have to take it with some Prilosec in the mornings so that my stomach's not hurting enough where I can't focus on anything. Okay? When I was a kid, when I was on Ritalin and then later on Adderall, messed my stomach 6 ways from Sunday up. And I do kind of believe the fact that they had me on about 100 milligrams of Adderall and 150 milligrams of Zoloft at the same time at my last year in high school, and I had to take them the same time in the morning, is probably what contributed the most to my never-ending constant spasms in my legs, but that's a different subject for a different day. But those drugs, the one that I'm taking now, and the other drugs, they never put me in a catatonic state at any point in time. They never sedated me to the point that I had a complete and utter inability to move, interact, or function in my day-to-day life. I've been on medication since 1991. Okay? You can't continue what people like this try to sell you because they do not evolve with the times, even though everybody else in this field has adjusted, changed, and grew as more new information is coming in as we learn more, right? And you can't sit there paranoid, pointing fingers at Big Pharma. I don't know what to tell you, folks. It's not the 1970s. It is not in Big Pharma's best interests. And their best interests, in case you're wondering, is greed and bringing in money. It's because they're corrupt, they're not trying to sedate you. It's because they're money hungry and powerful that they're not trying to sedate me and you. Lawsuits hemorrhage money. They do. What the JRC says here is correct, and they were in actuality trying to push sedation drugs on all of us, with all the millions of people that have this diagnosis all over the world. If that were actually the case, I think we would have noticed that by now, don't you? I'm just saying. Now, they bring in some of the different medications, but they didn't help with the behaviors. Because the medicines that he is taking is not necessarily used to attack behaviors directly. It is to be used along with as a supplement with a treatment program that has been already decided when done right, based off of information gleaned from a proper full functional behavioral assessment. So if there's one area you're still struggling in and you need that additional little bit of help, that's what the medicine is for. There is no drug that actually treats autism directly. Most of us have co-diagnoses. Those medications are used to help supplement our overall treatment program in the areas where we just have lost control. That's what that's there for. If during that time, if they were to put as a supplement to your treatment program an actual sedative that would do what the JRC tries to make you fear they're going to do, you want to talk about worldwide news. You want to talk about a media blitz from hell. I'm just saying. The reasons why GA's behavior did not change and get worse is not because of the medications that he was getting prescribed. It's because the treatment programs they keep slamming him in is being done before a full functional behavioral assessment is done. You can't change behavior if you don't know what's triggering the behavior. You're never going to find out what's triggering the behavior if you don't get the full functional assessment done. Point blank. Literally point blank. Now, also, it also spoke in regards, but we tried to change their environment and we made it sensory friendly. Sensory friendly to who, Karen? Sensory friendly to who? Well, I'm going to let you guys know the answer to that question here in the next upcoming video where I'll go ahead and paraphrase that one too. First, we don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please, folks, don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'll see you all tomorrow. Nope, not tomorrow. Here in a few minutes. Bye-bye, everyone. Send help.